If you're building a React Native Expo app, do you need a server? The answer is no. You no longer need a server. With FingoBox.com, you can connect to your database directly from the front end using API calls. You can get, update, delete, save all of your data directly from the front end using FingoBox.com. In this video, we're going to create a user sign up and login function within a React Native app, and we're going to be using a FingoBox database that we create in under a minute. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let's go ahead and get started. Your first step, if you haven't already, is to go to FingoBox.com, click this sign up free button. It's free to sign up. There's no credit card required. That should take you to a page like this. You're going to want to click this create a database button. This is how you create a database. You just give it a name here. I'm going to be creating a user login and sign up function. So I'm just going to create a database called users. Down here is how you create your columns in your database. Down here are some notes on how columns work. There's three data types: a string, a number, and a Boolean. The way you create the database tables is using key value pairs separated by commas. The key name is the name of the column. The value is the data type. So here's like an example of how you could create a database. Your database columns, you could copy this and paste it there. And you don't have to worry about dates. Whenever you post data, there's already a date timestamp attached to your data row. And every row comes with a serial primary key as well. So you don't have to worry about that either. So I'm going to go ahead and create my columns. So I'm going to have a user ID. And I'm going to be using a universally unique ID. I'll show you how to do that in this video. So that's just going to be a string. And put a comma there. And let's say a username. There's going to be a username. Again, that's going to be a string. Password. Again, that will be a string. And you'll want to make sure to put these quotation marks around it. And just so we have some, we can use a number too and a Boolean. I'll say user age. And that will be a number. And just so we can use a Boolean, I'm going to say user is human. So that'll be a true or false. And so I'll say Boolean. All right, and that's all you have to do to create a database table in your database. I'm going to go ahead and click Create Table. You'll notice your table will pop up down here with all of your API calls. If you want to update your table, you can scroll down here, and there's a place where you can update. Maybe you want to change it to user or something like that. You can update the table name. And then you'll notice up here the name changes. I'm still going to change it back to users. But you can do that. And also here, you'll see your API calls. This is what we're going to be using today. Here's your post call, your get call. If you want to get all your database table rows, this shows you how to get a single row, which we'll be using today. If you want to ever update your column info, you can use the API put request. If you ever want to delete a row, you can use the API delete request. Some other places you could do this too is if you want to come here, this lets you edit your table. If you had additional tables, they would pop up here. And you can also see your API calls here as well. And if you ever want to make notes about your database table, you can make your notes here as well. But we'll go ahead and come back here and we'll use this in our app. So here is an app I've created using React Native Expo. You'll notice down here, I've already created the sign up and the login inputs and functions. You can see the code for this in the description below on GitHub. I'll just explain a little bit about how it's working though. So we're going to be getting a value for username, password, user age, and if user is human or not. And if you look in the handle sign up page, we're going to be creating a universally unique ID. That's what we're going to be using for the user ID, just to make sure that the user ID is unique. And then the age, we're going to make sure the age is an actual number. It's very important that the values of that you're posting match the values of the columns that you created here. You'll notice here, so like for user age, it needs to be a number. It can't be a string, or it'll send an error message saying your values don't match your declared column types. And then this is true. This is a way to change text like that says true or false into the Boolean type true or false. And we're going to be using bcrypt to hash the password on the front end. It's called bcrypt.js. That's the one you'll want to use if you're hashing a password on the front end. This is a way to save your password to the database in a protected way, so like people can't hack into your database and look up the passwords. It'll hash the password, and then down here, whenever you log in, bcrypt also has a function in it that you can use to compare the password the user types in to the hashed password to see if they match. And you'll see more about how this works in a little bit. So I have an Android emulator open. I'm going to go ahead and open my app on the Android emulator. And again, I'll have lots of links in the description below. So any tech I'm using in this app, the code for this app, you can see in the description below. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just type. Well, first, before I start doing this, I need to go to my FingoBox account again. So this is what I would use to post data. So if I want to post a new user, I can copy this right here. I'll come up to my sign up function here, handle sign up. I'll post that right here. And then for the body, oh, and by the way, I'm using Axios for my post requests. You can use Fetch if you like, if you're more comfortable with that. I like Axios, so it's just easier to use. So I'm using Axios for this. But again, you can just use Fetch. This will work with any JavaScript type function. The next part, I'm just going to copy this whole body right here. I'll just come here and paste that there. I'll clean this up a little bit. If you're used to using Axios, you may not be used to putting the quotation marks around. So if you'd like, you can remove the quotation marks. It'll still work. I'm just going to leave it in, though. It'll work with the quotation marks, too. So you could just leave them in just like this. And for here, you'll notice your columns are already there for you. And also your app ID, your app token, your database ID, all that's in here for you. It's already put in there for you. The only things you need to update are these blue spaces with your values. And so I'm going to change these to, for the user ID, I'm going to use my UUID, my universally unique ID. I'll paste that there. For username, I have a spot called username. So I'll say username. The password is going to be my hashed password that I created using bcrypt. And so this is just a secure way to save a password. For the user age, I have something called age, which makes sure that it's a number. And then user is human. I have this function is true that will verify that the value type of this is either a Boolean true or a Boolean false. All right, and I'm already done with the sign up function. The last thing I'm going to do is the login function. This is going to be used to to verify that the password matches the hashed password I save to the database. So to do this, I'm going to come to this second get function. I'm going to copy this whole thing, and you'll notice it's set up sort of like SQL. You can say select from whatever where the column name is equal to the column value. Well, here we already put in the app ID, app token, database ID. You just have to update these blue spaces. So put in your column name, column value. I'm going to do it based off username. So come here. You'll notice I put backticks here in the GET request. I'm going to paste that like that. And then over here where it says your column name, I'm going to change that to username. And here I'm going to use the $, curly braces, and say username. So what I'm doing here is I want to get the row with a matching username. And then I want to compare that data row's password with the password they type in to see if they match. If they do, I'll console log, login successful, false, login fail. All right, so let's just go ahead and I'm going to refresh the app just to make sure everything's set up right. And I'll go ahead and test this out. So I'll say TJ at FingoBox.com. I'll just say, I'll type the word password as my password. I'll say 32. User is human, true or false. I'll say true. All right, and I'll submit that and let's see what happens. All right, so it was successful, and you'll notice here it returns here. I'm going to close this terminal. So it returns in your res.data. It returns an object. In the object, you have all your column values that you posted. And it also, oh, and you'll notice the user ID looks something like this. It's a universally unique user ID. And the hashed password, even though I typed the word password, it saves it like this. And every row of data automatically has a data row ID. It comes with a date timestamp attached to it and a serial primary key already created for you, so you don't have to worry about that. The way this next login function works is it uses bcrypt's hashing technology and function to test out the password. So I have my username here, TJ at FingoBox.com. I'll go ahead and type in just the word password, and it should be successful. Let's see if this works. All right, and it says login successful. So you'll notice here, this GET request here that we posted, it got the row of data that was equal with a username that was equal to TJ at FingoBox.com. And then I was able to use this function to compare the passwords. So in a real app, at this point, you could say if the login was successful, you could navigate to whatever screen, the dashboard or whatever, however you navigate. So that's how you use FingoBox in a React Native Expo app. What we just did will work in any JavaScript-based language. So it would work in React too, or any other JavaScript-based framework. It also works with any language. It's all API based. So if you're ever using another language and you'd like just a really quick database, you can use FingoBox. FingoBox was created so that as an app developer, you don't have to build a server anymore. You can just connect directly from the front end to your database. You don't have to worry about hosting your app server somewhere just so you can connect to the database. You can connect directly from the front end. If you like FingoBox, please let me know in the comments below. If you do not like it, please let me know in the comments below. Please let me know what you wished it had, what you would change about it. If you like it, is it a service you would personally want to use? This is kind of a new product, and we're really hoping to get some user feedback from you guys, the listeners. So if you could, in the comments below, please give me any advice you have. We would love to listen to your advice. So please let us know in the comments below what you think about it, if you like it, or if you would change it in any way. We really value your opinion. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time.